guys, it's Jamie bringing you recovery-inspired hope. And tonight I am filming from Lovejoy Chiropractics. This has been my chiropractic office for the last couple of years. They have an amazing practice, best chiropractors in town for sure. And I'm here with my very good friend, Dr. Jan Martenson. We are actually both from New Hampshire, so we're really excited about that. We're repping New Hampshire tonight. And we also, he is also a celebrate recovery teacher for 2 years, which I was too, so I thought that was pretty awesome as well. And tonight we're going to talk about holistic health care in recovery and how that is important and how that can be beneficial to people in long-term recovery. So, Dr. Martenson, tell me about the benefits of overall holistic health care for people in recovery and what that includes.
Yeah. So one of the things about recovery is the body usually is depleted in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically, but also in something that's called micronutrients, and also in small parts of the brain that the power to function in the cells is depleted as well. That's called the mitochondria. So what we need to do is we need to reassess and refeed all that stuff. So we usually have 4 things we look at. Exercise, and they could be as simple as just walking, just getting out and walk and move. So we have to move. That helps the brain refocus, and something that's called neuroplasticity. It rechanges your brain. So if you focus on something positive, the brain is gonna work with that. If you focus on something negative, the brain is going to focus on that. So if you focus on, okay, it's good, I need to go out and walk. Moving into the next part is something we call mindful meditation. So we need to focus on something positive, self-reflect a little bit, which in recovery we're really good at.
Right, yes.
But we need to focus on positive things, and what we're looking at for mindful meditation, a lot of times we'll look at, okay, is there places inside my body that is not working correctly? Can I identify those places? And then try to figure out what needs to correct that, which leads us to our third thing, and that will be food, nutrition. So we need to eat really well. So you want a reasonably balanced meal, lots of fruits, lots of vegetables. The problem a lot of people have is they will not get enough food or nutrients because they're not used to eating. And so, so then we have a problem with we're not getting the nutrients we need and all those little micronutrients that I was talking about. So sometimes we have to give people vitamins or herbs to help all that along.
Right. Because I know for me, when I first came into recovery, I don't think I had eaten like a good meal in 6 months, you know? And then of course, when you come in and then you start eating and then you start gaining weight, and we definitely, for me, I didn't do any exercise and when I was out there before recovery. So it sounds like it's just a whole new way of life that we have to adapt. So it's not just like one thing, but it's a whole process.
And then the fourth thing I talked about is chiropractic care.
Okay.
So what the chiropractic care does, it helps obviously mobilize and align the spine, but it also it does incredible things for the brain, which we'll talk about later.
Okay, awesome. And I'm definitely an advocate for massage and chiropractic in recovery all the way. In early recovery, I got massage and chiropractic, and it literally just changed everything. It really changed the game for me, because when you're feeling better in your body and you're not hurting, it's much easier to go through the things that you have to go through in early recovery if you're not in pain all the time, and if you're in more of like a calm state. So and chiropractic care definitely can benefit people in long-term recovery.
Yes.
And we also talked about So trauma is we consider trauma to be a gateway for substance use disorder.
Yes.
And I did a study on how unprocessed trauma is held in the body.
Yes.
So chiropractics can help with that?
Yeah, so one of the things, gonna get into a little neurology here, sorry. So if you think of like this is my brain, and so this is the front of the brain, this is the back of the brain, and right in the middle here is an old part of the brain that's called the feeling and emotions part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the time, the brain functions normally and it's sitting in this position. But if we have a trauma that has occurred in the past, then all of a sudden, if the brain thinks something is going to happen that may be similar or could happen, here's the key, could happen, not necessarily will happen, but could happen.
Wow.
The brain is going to say, boop, it's going to shut off the executive portion of the brain and only go with the emotional part of the brain.
Wow, that is fascinating because they tell us too in our that our disease can be a fear-based disease. So that just really just brought major stuff to light here.
It's neurophysiology.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So when you have that, so basically the thinking part of the brain, the logical, the director of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets shut down. So one of the ways that you can get that back in place is in the back of your neck, right up along the skull here, where we all get those tension headaches.
Right, yes,
There are 8 little muscles that holds the head in, that sends information to the back part of your brain that's called the cerebellum. When the brain does this, those 8 muscles get shut off.
Wow.
Which means now the brain is not getting proper information on alignment, not only of where your head and neck is, but your entire body.
Wow.
And so now things can go wrong and the brain doesn't really know how to react to it. And so now it's going to just tighten up and clamp down and have muscle tension, muscle spasms, and all kinds of stuff. That's where massage comes in.
Right.
So how do we activate those things, the 8 muscles there, with an adjustment? So there is neuroscience that shows when we adjust a patient, particularly in the upper part of the neck here, those 8 muscles gets activated again and the frontal part of the brain gets turned back on.
Wow, that is fascinating. That is fascinating.
So there you go. So
wow,
there's a lot of stuff in there.
And do you believe that spinal misalignment can contribute to depression and anxiety?
Oh yeah, because once these shut off and the frontal part shuts off, well, then you're in purely emotional. And once you get into a purely emotional state, a lot of times your adrenal glands will kick out a bunch of cortisol. You'll be in fight and flight all the time.
Wow.
Which then starts shutting down certain things in the stomach, because now you're either supposed to run or fight, and so it shuts down digestion. Yes. So now we're anxious and we have upset stomach and stuff. But here's one of the most important things. 2/3 of the neurochemistry of neurotransmitters that functions all the nerves is produced in your gut, not in your head.
Okay.
So if your stomach is shut down because of fight and flight, you're not producing the proper amount of neurochemistry. In other words, serotonin is low. When serotonin is low, you're depressed.
Oh my goodness,
if GABA is low, then you're getting anxious.
Okay.
So on and so forth.
Wow. And I never knew that. And cortisol is also that thing in the belly that makes you bloated, right? Or makes you hold weight in your stomach.
It does, because you're not digesting.
Wow. That's definitely got to be what's going on in my life. That's why my waist is not shrinking.
There we go.
Wow. Okay, and why do you think that overall in the community that whole health is something that should be addressed in like the whole community, not just in recovery?
Okay, so one of the things is I'm lucky I don't have a TV, but if you watch TV, I've watched it at people's houses, all I see is commercial for prescription drugs, junk food, bad sugar drinks, you can go on and on. So basically what people are hammered with all the time in their media exposure is everything that's contradictory to holistic health.
Wow, that's so true. That is so true.
So when people come to a chiropractor, a lot of times they're like, wow, I feel so much better. What else can I do to be better? And then we start talking about, well, if you're not feeling better, there's stuff we can do with nutrition. There's exercises we can give you. Like if somebody hasn't exercised for a long time, I'm not going to send them to the gym. I'm going to send them out and walk around the block.
Right.
There's the reasonable exercises. Because if, people are like, hey, I feel stronger, I need to get better, and they hit, CrossFit, and they get damaged. And then, then they're right back in the carousel again with prescription drugs, which, by the way, there's a study out, the CDC has confirmed this, that nobody should prescribe opioids for more than 3 days, max 7.
Wow. And when did this come out? Because
it has been out since 2015.
Since 2015, because I know for sure I was getting all kinds of prescriptions.
Yes. So it doesn't work. Actually, they found out that for chronic pain, which is more than 3 months, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work anymore.
No.
So instead they just get you on this cycle of being dependent on it.
Yes.
Which turns into addiction, which turns into death and overdose.
The CDC clearly states that if you're on for longer than the 7 days, overdose, addiction, all this stuff is a consequence that will happen.
Wow. So now what about the doctors who continue to prescribe like that?
Well, that's why we have this crisis, first of all. And that's why there's a lot of education that's going on. The problem is the pharmaceutical companies who sell these drugs are very persuasive for doctors. Free lunch, free vacation.
Yes, I just saw a 60 Minutes on this where they got paid big money to persuade doctors to sell their medications.
Unfortunately, even in medicine, it's follow the money.
Wow.
So we have to be advocates for ourselves. And so when you come to chiropractic, we do stuff without surgery and without drugs.
Yes.
We give you nature's drugs, food.
Right.
And guess what? Food is a great drug.
Yes.
But you got to be the right food.
Right, the right food. Yes, not the Ben and Jerry's that I like.
So I know. The thing is, once in a while, you gotta have a day where you can go.
Right.
I blew it.
Right.
And not beat yourself up because we do that in recovery. We beat ourselves up because we messed up today. This morning, I looked at a donut.
I gained 10 pounds.
I failed the whole day, right? So.
Yes, absolutely. And so right now we're facing this cuts in our budget right now. So this has been just an ongoing thing where we are just, the recovery community is we're a little bit in a panic right now because the state, of course, everybody has budget cuts, right?
Right.
Because of coronavirus. Okay, we can take some for the team too, but they're trying to cut us like way down, like way too much. I think like down to 38% or something crazy like that.
Yes.
And what do you think is going to happen if those budget cuts go through where they're cutting, 60% of our funding.
Well, that's going to be problematic. A lot of people are going to be left behind. And the main thing that people in Atlanta they need to know is there's a lot of people that are in this situation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that has happened. A lot of it is because of their laws. And so there are other things that can be cut on a more equal basis.
Right.
So this is more of a, hey, this is an easy one, let's cut this.
Right.
But if they haven't ever experienced it or listened to people who has gone through it, they're going to realize this is a really important thing. This is, we call it mental health recovery, but this is part of health care.
Right.
So they're really cutting health care.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we have another week till that decision finally they vote on that or whatever. So we're just keeping in prayers that they are going to see that recovery saves lives. And I thank you so much for all of your information here.
You're welcome.
And Lovejoy Chiropractics, Dr. Jan Martenson. Thank you. Thanks, guys.